Hello, friends. Welcome to Kerala PSC HSA English classes. This is class 8. Today I am discussing on Robert Browning's My Last Duchess. It is a dramatic monologue. It first appeared in 1842 in Browning's Dramatic Lyrics, which is a volume in his Bells and Pomegranates series. It is written in 28 rhyming couplets of iambic pentameter, and in total there are 56 lines. In the first edition of Dramatic Lyrics, it was merely titled as Italy. The poem is preceded by the epigraph Ferrara, indicating that the speaker is most likely Alfonso II d'Este, the fifth Duke of Ferrara, who at the age of 25 married Lucretia di Cosimo di Medici, the 14-year-old daughter of Cosimo L. di Medici, Grand Duke of Tuscany, and Eleonora di Toledo. He then abandoned her for 2 years before she died on April 21, 1561, at the age of 17. Then he sought the hand of Barbara, eighth daughter of the Holy Roman Emperor Ferdinand I and Anna of Bohemia and Hungary. So, as I already told, this is a dramatic monologue, and the speaker is the Duke of Ferrara. And Nicolas Madrus, a native of Innsbruck, is presumably the listener in the poem. There are other characters who are named in the poem, like the painter Fra Pandolf and the sculptor Claus of Innsbruck, and they all are fictional characters. The poem is set in the Italian Renaissance, but could be interpreted as a critique of how women were treated in the Victorian era in which Browning wrote this poem. So, in the poem, we can see that the Duke of Ferrara he is entertaining an emissary who has come to negotiate the Duke's marriage to the daughter of another powerful family because he has recently been widowed. So, as he shows a visitor through his palace, he stops before a portrait of the late Duchess, apparently a young and lovely girl. So, the Duke begins reminiscing about the portrait sessions, then about the Duchess herself. He tells about her disgraceful behavior and he claims that she flirted with everyone and did not appreciate his gift of a 900 years old name. And as the monologue continues, we can realize that it is the Duke himself who is responsible for the Duchess's death. So, having made this disclosure, the Duke returns to his business at hand, arranging for another marriage with another young girl. So, as the Duke and emissary walk, leaving the painting behind, the Duke points out other notable artworks in his collection. So, this is all about a gist of the poem. Now, we are moving on to the poem. My Last Duchess, Ferrara. That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. Will it please you sit and look at her? I said, Fra Pandolf, by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. But to myself they turned, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you but I. and seemed as they would ask me if they durst, how such a glance came there. So, not the first. Are you to turn and ask this? Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. Perhaps Fra Pandol's chance to say her mantle laps over my lady's wrist too much, or paint much never must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. She had a heart, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. So, the Duke of Ferrara directs the attention of the emissary, Nicholas Matthews, to a painting of his former wife, Lucretia, the Duchess of Ferrara, which hangs on the wall. The Duke praises the painting for looking so lifelike and then remarks how hard the painter Fra Pandolf worked on it. The Duke asked the guest to sit and look at the work. The Duke then explains that he deliberately mentioned the name of the painter because strangers, like the emissary, always look at the Duchess' painted face with its deep, passionate, and earnest glance and turns to Duke. And only the Duke, since only he pulls back the curtain that reveals the painting, and act as though they would ask, if they dared, how an expression like that came into her face. That blush. The Duke reiterates that the emissary isn't the first person to ask such a question. The Duke continues by saying that it wasn't only his presence that brought that look into the painted eyes of the Duchess or the blush of happiness on her painted cheek. He suggests that perhaps Fra Pandolf had happened to, praise or compliment her by saying that her shawl drapes over her wrist too much, or paint could never recreate the faint half blush that's fading on her throat. The Duke insists that the former Duchess thought that kind of polite comments, like those, were reason enough to blush. And he criticizes her that for being too easily made happy or impressed. She will become too much happy for silly things or trivial kind of praising. He also claims that she liked everything and everyone she saw. Although his description suggests that she was flirting or ogling with everyone who crossed her path.